Hi everyone, my name is Tammy. I'm a senior digital strategist at the National Australia Bank and I'm a young patron for Go Girl Go for IT. I'm really excited to be here speaking to you today, but right now I'll probably be in New York City because I just received a job offer to go and work in New York with a company called DigitalOcean who do cloud hosting. So after 5.5 years at NAB, I'm moving over to New York City and I'm really excited about it. So I'm speaking to you from our NAB office at Docklands in the city. I wanted to talk to you about how making stuff is really fun. That's something that I've always loved doing since I was probably around 11 years old. I made my first website when I was 12 and I thought it was so much fun. So I really encourage you all to get out there and give it a go. So when I was in school, I loved to do things on the internet. I remember some of my friends would say, oh, the internet's not cool. And I would say back, no, I think it's going to be really awesome in the future. There's going to be all these new jobs, things that we don't even know it would exist right now. And it's definitely what's actually happened. Now I have a job as a senior digital strategist. That job didn't even exist probably a few years ago, let alone when I was in high school. So it's really amazing to see how the world's changed over the last few years. When I was 13, 14, 15, I was part of the school website team and I really loved being able to create the school's website during lunch with my friends. The teachers would give us access to be able to do whatever we want. We could create articles and put up photos and make it really awesome, that was a great place to start building things on the internet. I also made my brother's first website for his band, which was a lot of fun. That website doesn't look that great if you see it now, but back then it was a really cool thing to create. I had his MP3s, lyrics to his songs. There was also a forum where people could meet up and talk about his music. I also really loved skateboarding. And skateboarding was a great thing to learn about through the internet. I was living with my parents in Sydney and I didn't really know anyone that could teach me how to skateboard, so I would go online when I was in high school and I would look up how to do tricks. And back then, if you can imagine, there were no videos on the internet because the internet was so slow you couldn't even have a video on there. So what I would do is I would look at photos of how to do a trick and it would be the sequence of, say, an ollie where it was like you put your foot here and then you move up and up and up until you're doing the trick. So that was amazing to come from back then where I would watch this sequence to now where you can learn things from all over the world by watching videos, which is really amazing. And I'm sure lots of you have learned lots of things already from the internet by watching YouTube and things like that. So after I finished school, I was really excited to just explore the world. So I took a year off and I had a gap year. I went over to Europe with one of my friends and we spent 6 months camping all over Germany, Austria, Belgium. We just traveled around everywhere. We went to London, Scotland, and we had this amazing time. And when I came back, I decided that I wanted to move up north and live in the warm, near the beach. So I decided to go to Queensland University of Technology and study a Bachelor of IT and a Bachelor of Education, which I really loved. It was fun to get to move out of home and go live somewhere beautiful and make lots of new friends. I loved studying that degree and I decided to major in building web applications. I also wanted to be a secondary high school teacher. So while I was studying that, I had one full year where I taught students in high school how to create video games. So that was really fun to be able to teach that. We started off by making little Play-Doh models of different video game characters, and then we would write the scripts out for what the story would be about when you were playing the game. And then I created some demo games and the students then made their own, and it was really amazing to see them create these games only over a short period of just a few weeks. They then took those finished games and presented them back to the local primary school, which was amazing for them to get their feedback, and you can imagine primary school students will tell you whether they like your game or not. So that was pretty great for them to have some critiquing from them. So after I finished studying and working as a teacher, I was still wondering what I wanted to do next. So I did that for a year working as a teacher, and then I decided that I would join the NAB graduate program in Melbourne. I'd always wanted to try living in Melbourne because I thought it was a great city. There's so much to do and so much to see, and I was really interested in the arts and culture. And also I saw that technology was really booming in Melbourne. There's a lot of great companies here like realestate.com.au, Seek, NAB, all these companies that are doing amazing things with, thousands or millions of customers, and I wanted to be part of creating something really big. So I joined NAB as a grad 5.5 years ago, And I've worked on so many different projects over the years. I've built mobile applications, websites, I've worked in support, I've also worked in cybercrime. It's been pretty amazing, and I've actually had 7 different jobs over the last 5.5 years because NAB really encourages you to rotate around and try different things and figure out what you love most. I've also led a team, and I really love doing that, leading a team of developers and support engineers. So while I've been at NAB, I've also done a lot of stuff outside work because I think it's really important to give back to the community. And in 2010, I created a group called Girls in Tech Oz. And then I decided to merge with my friend Jess, who was doing another group called Girl Geek Dinners Melbourne. So in the last year, Jess moved over to Canada and decided to start working on her startup, which is an online business. And I stayed in Melbourne, and I've been growing Girl Geek Dinners Melbourne. So what happened was, at the start of last year, we had 350 members, which is still quite a lot of women in Melbourne that are interested in coming along, learning about tech, and wanting to improve their skills. But then I decided to run 8 different workshops on skills like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, public speaking, all these different skills that you can learn about. And we went from having 350 members to over 1,000 now, which is really amazing in Melbourne. And because of that the learnings that we had from that and what I could see happening, I decided to run some other events. So this year I ran Australia's first all-female hackathon called She Hacks, and I did that with one of my colleagues, April Staines, who also works at NAB. And that was fantastic. We actually sold out of tickets in 1 week, and we had amazing sponsors including NAB. And there was a great $2,500 first prize which went to the winning team. It was really fantastic to see 10 different teams of women that were hackers, hipsters and hustlers come together to create these amazing apps online. After She Hacks, we still wanted to do more in the community and to really keep continuing to grow what was happening. So we decided to run Australia's first female startup weekend event, which is an event where you come together for the whole weekend from Friday night to Sunday, which is a really long time, and you actually build a business. So we had also loads of people that came along to that. It sold out as well, and we got a lot of press in the news for that too. So there's been some articles that have appeared in the Financial Review, which is really amazing, but we weren't ready to stop there. We wanted to keep growing and doing more. So we decided to then create Girl Geek Academy, which we just launched in June this year. And we decided we've done a lot of stuff in Melbourne, but we want to really go global now with what we're doing. We want to use the skills that we've learned over the last few years and create workshops and online courses, and also do Google Hangouts with women from all over the world who can come together and share and teach and learn and grow. We've been really lucky to get Google as a partner, as well as 99 Designs, and we ran our first workshop last night in Melbourne, which was really fantastic. So what happens with Girl Geek Academy is we have a different theme for every month. So in the first month, July, we've done pitching as our theme. So we had a workshop where everyone decided to come together and learn how they could pitch. It could be for something like getting a new job, or asking for something that you really want, or possibly even if you're running a business, maybe you want to get investment, something to think about in the future if you ever do that. So it's a great skill to be able to learn how to pitch, because it's something that we do every day, but we don't even really think about it that we're doing it. And next we're going to be doing other workshops over the next few months around HTML, CSS, building apps, teaching different programming languages, leadership, public speaking, and even finance to help people run businesses. We're really excited about that and can't wait to grow Girl Geek Academy and take it across the entire world. So what I really want to also share with you is how you can get involved in creating things, because it's really easy to start getting involved in learning how to build websites and make apps. First off, I think some great tools that are available are some iPhone app building courses that you can do online. There's a lot of things through the iTunes. There's also books that you can read. I really love the Head First series. There are a lot of great tools that you can use. I recommend first sketching out your ideas on paper and then using a tool like Balsamiq to actually pull together what you want to build, if that's a website or a mobile app, and then you can start learning how to code it. And if you create a team of, say 3 people, a hacker, someone with programming skills, even someone who wants to learn how to be a programmer, and a hipster, someone who knows what's cool and has some design skills, and then a hustler, someone who has the business and marketing skills. If you bring those 3 people together, then you can create something really amazing, because you all have different skills that you can use to create something fantastic. Another great thing to think about too is, what do you want to do what do you want to be in the future, and how can you help make that happen? So I think another really important thing to do is to set goals and to dream really big. So I always wanted to work in the US, and it's been a big dream of mine for a long time. And the way that it actually happened was I spoke to one of my mentors, and I've spoken to him over the last few years explaining that I'd like to do that. And he told me to think about, where would I like to work all over the world? What was the top company? And I told him I'd like to work at DigitalOcean. And he ended up being friends with the CEO. So that really helped me be able to meet them and talk to them. And then after doing a series of really tough assignments and exams, I was able to secure a job, and now I'm moving over to New York. So I think it's really important to set those goals, set them big, dream high, and talk to people and let others know what your goals are. I also really love raising money for charity through the events that we run. So I support a group called One Girl, which is a charity that believes that every girl has the right to an education. And this year so far we've raised $3,000 for One Girl, which has been really fantastic. We did that through running our hackathons, running workshops and running events, and then giving that money to One Girl. So some of the things that they focus on is, often if there's a family and they can only afford to send one person to school, because overseas, if you want to go to school, often in Africa you have to pay to go to school. You don't get to go to school for free. So often the family might say, well, we'll send our son, but we don't have enough money to send our daughter as well, so we won't send our daughter. But what One Girl does is they give those children money to be able to then study and learn and get an education, which we think is really important, because we want all girls all over the world to be able to have an education. So now, if you've got any questions or anything that you'd like to ask me, I'm available on Twitter. Please reach out to me. My handle is @TammyBudo, and I've also got a website which you can check out, and I post blog posts on there all the time too. So I'd love to stay in touch and hear about what your dreams are and what your goals are. So please let me know. And it's fantastic that you're here at Go Girl Go for IT. It's a fantastic event, and it's so amazing to see that there's hundreds of girls all over Melbourne that are interested in studying tech. I really think that it's a great career, and I've absolutely loved doing it. And I've been doing it now since I was 12, so it's been a really long time of building websites, and I still love it now when I'm 29. Thank you.